So to start with the training, okay, first of all, to start with the training, I'll answer majorly the frequently asked questions, okay, the basic questions which people have for Selenium before they are joining the course, and about the course as well. They have few questions, so I'll answer few frequently asked questions. Okay, the first question which almost every person who is very new to Selenium, okay, he or she always asks me is, what is Selenium? And there are various components: RC, WebDriver, Grid, IDE. What are these things? Okay, and do I need to learn programming language if I am learning Selenium? And also all these questions are asked. So to answer these things, there is a simple description to this. That is, when Selenium was launched in the market, that is around in 2005-06, I guess I started working at that time. It's very old tool. Okay, only thing is it just got famous because it's open source, and the new version WebDriver is very good. Okay, now when it was started, there was something known as Selenium RC. Okay, then there was IDE, and there was something known as Grid. Okay, so these were the initial components, right? It was launched by a company known as ThoughtWorks. They made this tool for their internal testing purposes. They never knew that they'll be going to launch in the market and it will be so famous. Okay, so it was an open source tool. Obviously, they put the code in the market and people started using it, and gradually it became famous. And one of the companies which started using this tool for their internal testing purpose was Google. Okay, now Google saw that these are the three components. Okay, IDE was something which could only test your applications in Mozilla Firefox. It was a simple recorder and tool. It is a simple recorder and tool rather. Okay, it can simply test your applications only in Mozilla Firefox, and it provides the record run feature. Okay, now there are two things. First of all, record run is not so successful in the applications which are built these days because these are dynamically changing applications. For example, if I talk about an application like bbc.com, okay, a website like bbc.com changes every 1 hour, or every day. All the links on the website, they change. Okay, so recorder feature is not so successful in it. If you don't know what record run is, don't worry, I'll be telling you. Okay, another thing was RC in this Selenium. Now RC was successful across many browsers. You could use it across Mozilla and IE and Chrome, Safari, Opera. Okay, so it could be used across multiple browsers. And okay, the basic thing is that when they made Selenium, okay, they made the core of Selenium in JavaScript. Okay, even today, the core of Selenium, the internal of Selenium is made in JavaScript. Now, JavaScript is not a very simple language. Although it's a very powerful language, okay, but it is not a very simple language. It's very hard to debug. If you actually like while coding, if you actually do some mistake and all, then it's very difficult in JavaScript to find out where you have done the mistake. Okay, so the code was made JavaScript. So in order to make the functionality easy, okay, in order to make the functionality easy, what they did was they actually introduced various languages like Java, C Sharp, PHP. I hope I'm audible to everybody. If I'm not audible or if my voice is breaking, then please let me know. Okay, so these were the languages: Java, C Sharp, PHP, Ruby, Python. Okay, some of these languages. Okay, so these are the languages. Okay, which the APIs were made in these languages, which could actually interact with this JavaScript code and test your web-based applications. Okay, one more thing, Selenium is only for web-based applications. It is not for Windows-based applications. Okay, so if you have a website out here, right? Suppose this is the website, then Christian, hold on, I'll just answer a question. Hold on. Okay, then you could write a code in any one of these following languages, which will eventually invoke the JavaScript core, the inner part of Selenium, which will control the browser. So you need to, as a tester, you need to know any of these programming languages. Okay, and it's not necessary that suppose my website is made in C Sharp. It doesn't matter. I can make code in any one of these languages and I can test the website. Okay, it doesn't really matter. You can make the code in any of the languages: Java, C Sharp, PHP. Some people think that if my website is made in Java, then I need to use Selenium with Java. If my website is made in PHP, then I need to use Selenium with PHP. It's not like that. Okay, so now the thing which comes over to the mind is what is now, if we have seen what is RC, what is IDE, and 1 minute, I didn't tell you about grid. Grid is to test your test cases parallelly. Suppose if you have got 4,000 test cases, okay, then using grid we actually distribute the test cases. That is 100 test cases on one machine, it's 1,000 test cases on one machine, 1,000 on another, 1,000 on another, 1,000 on another. So this way the test cases, they execute faster. Okay, we have nodes in grid. Okay, and all the nodes are connected to one single hub. So you can execute, these are the computers, basically different machines, and this is the hub machine. You can say that it's a server, right? And all these hubs, they execute the test cases parallelly. Okay. This kind of feature is not available in QTP. This is a very good feature in which you can test your test cases, a huge number of test cases parallelly. Okay, now something known as WebDriver has come up in the market. Okay, now RC, it's old, it's known as Selenium 1.0. Okay, the thing is it had various drawbacks. Alright, some major drawbacks were there in RC. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the drawbacks right now. Okay, but looking into those drawbacks, what these people did, people from Google who started using Selenium RC, they in collaboration with ThoughtWorks and all, they came up with a new version of Selenium known as WebDriver. Now WebDriver is also same as RC. It tests the applications on various browsers. Okay, support for Safari and Opera is there, but it is not so stable as of now. Okay, all these browsers are there in WebDriver. Okay, but Safari and Opera are not so stable. They are in the beta phase right now. Safari is in the beta phase, but Mozilla IE and Chrome, they work perfectly fine. You should know how to do it. It works. Right now, the story of WebDriver is also the same as this one, which I just explained to you. The core is made in JavaScript. Only thing is there are a lot of features in WebDriver. There are a lot of functionalities in WebDriver which were not there in RC. And it's not necessary that if you want to learn Selenium WebDriver, you should be knowing Selenium RC. It's not like that. Like I have many people who know Selenium RC, when they look at WebDriver, they aren't even able to understand the code. They are not even able to understand a single line. So WebDriver architecture and RC architecture are two completely different architectures. Okay, so they are not related to each other or something. Although WebDriver supports RC code through some special classes, right? But there is no similarity. Okay, so this is the story of Selenium, and in grade 1.0 was there earlier. Now they have modified it, and it's something known as grade 2.0 has come up. Okay, so these are the components of Selenium. IDE is there, IDE is still there. RC was enhanced to WebDriver, grade 1.0 was enhanced to 2.0. 2.0 supports WebDriver, 1.0 supports RC. So this is how things are working. Still many companies are working with Selenium RC. Okay, so this is a little bit introduction about Selenium. Alright, if anybody has any doubt, please feel free to ask me. Okay, please feel free to ask me in case you have any doubts. Now, alright. Another frequently asked questions which people ask me is, do I need to learn programming? Yes, in this course you will be studying Java first. Okay, you need to learn programming. Look, the basic mistake which I have seen over a period of time which people do is while learning Selenium, they don't learn a programming language. For example, in this course we will be doing with Java. We will be learning Selenium with Java because Java essentially is most famous one. Okay, now people, so some guys they actually think that without learning Java they can do or something like that. It's not like that. Okay, frequently people have this complaint that there is no documentation available for Selenium. Alright, documentation is available. Only thing is you need to know the programming language. For example, if I go to the Selenium website, okay, if I go to the Selenium website, then this is the latest version of Selenium 2.23 Java version. If you go to the Java docs are nothing but the documentation of Selenium. Okay, if you try to read these Java docs, many of you might not be able to read it because it's all technical in nature. Okay, so this is a very good documentation of Selenium. Only thing is you should be knowing the concepts of object-oriented programming in Java. Okay, so if you don't have the concepts of object-oriented programming, you will not be able to study this documentation. Okay, so this is the mistake which many people do, that is they don't learn object-oriented programming, they don't learn Java, and they directly jump over to Selenium. Okay, so in this course I will not be starting with Selenium. I think for first 2 lectures or something. By end of tomorrow's lecture, I guess I will be starting with Selenium. So first of all, I will be giving you a brief introduction about Java, what object-oriented principles are, and then I will tell you how these are implemented in Selenium. So I will not be just teaching you Java like that. I will be teaching you the concepts of Java, and after that I will be teaching you how these concepts are utilized in Selenium. Okay, first of all, to do that, everybody I think has got Java installed on their machines. Okay, so hold on. In this, yeah, this is Eclipse. Okay, you need to download and Eclipse from internet as well. Eclipse is editor for Java language. Okay, if you go to Google and just type download Eclipse, okay, and go out here. Yeah, you need to download this version, Eclipse IDE for Java EE developers. Why am I asking you to download this heavy version is because it's almost 212 MB. Because sometimes in future we might use TestNg and this will be required in TestNg. Okay, so now fine. So just download it depending on your machine, whether it is 32-bit or 64-bit machine. And in the end, when you have downloaded it, you just get a zip file. Okay, you extract the zip file, you'll get the Eclipse folder. You open this and run eclipse.exe. Okay, in case you have got 64-bit machine, okay, please hear this carefully, listen to this carefully. In case you have got 64-bit machine, then you also need to download something known as JDK, Java Development Kit, and install JDK on your machine. Okay, so if you have a 64-bit machine, you need to install JDK as well, because sometimes Eclipse never works on 64-bit machines if JDK is not there. Okay, so install this as well. You can go to the first URL, Java SC downloads, and just get JDK from there. Okay, so once you have got Eclipse with you, right? Okay, the question being asked is, can you elaborate on the differences in architecture? I will do that. Okay, if I do it right now, people will not be able to understand. I need to first talk about the concept of object-oriented programming. Okay, if I tell you in simple words the difference between WebDriver and RC, you can see it yourself. If I go to Google and I type download Selenium and Selenium RC Java docs. Look, I can tell you the difference right now, but in layman's term, I'll tell you because many people out there, they are not aware of what Selenium is actually. So this is the new version, Selenium WebDriver. This is the Java doc or the Java documentation for the new version. If you look at the new version, you have a scroll bar over here. These are the various classes, okay, in this version. Alright, and if you look at the older version, that is RC, you'll only find these classes. That's it. So you can see the difference in the size itself. Okay, this is the older version, and in this left tab over here, I have the new version in which I have these classes. Secondly, in Selenium RC, what we used to do was that we used to start a server always. Every time we used to, whenever we wanted to work with Selenium RC, we used to start a server. And that was a pain in the neck because sometimes the server used to never start, or once you stop it, it never used to restart. Then people had to log off or do a number of things to bring it back or stuff like that. But out here in WebDriver, there is no server. So the main headache is being removed. Okay, so I'll just tell you this much of the difference. Rest of the differences I can only tell you when I actually go into the depth of Selenium WebDriver, and then For example, there's a simple scenario that you need to, yeah, this is also a very good example. If I'm on say any website and I need to print the names of all the links on a website. This is a simple scenario. It is very difficult in RC to do this. You'll have to use JavaScript. Okay, but in WebDriver it is very easy. I just need to print the names of all the links on a web page. Alright, so these kind of things were not so easy in RC. The architecture of RC was very small, only these many classes are present. Okay, so I will tell you about the difference as we proceed with the course. Alright, now I'll start Eclipse. This is eclipse.exe. Eclipse is an editor for Java language. It's used by the developers as well. It can be used by you as well. Fine, it is very lightweight. Okay, when you to start Eclipse, you simply click on eclipse.exe. It will start. Eclipse is not installable. You don't install Eclipse. Okay, only thing is download it and start using it. Make sure that Java is installed on your machine. Right. Now this is the workspace launcher. That means the place where you will be storing all your code. Okay, I'll be storing the code in eDrive tools Selenium 18 June workspace. Okay, this will be the workspace where I will be storing the code. Alright, I click on OK and Eclipse starts up. Hold on. So this is the welcome screen of Eclipse. You just close it, right? And this is the project explorer on the left hand side, where out here you have the project explorer on the left hand side. Here you will be doing, or you will be keeping all the projects. In the middle part over here you will be doing the coding, and in the bottom part out here you can see the output. Okay, I'll just show it to you. In Eclipse, first of all you need to make a new project. Okay, you right click on the project explorer, say new project, and call that project a new simple Java project. If you don't see this option, you can expand this Java and select Java project. Alright, new Java project, click on next and give a name to your project, that is, suppose this is day 1. Fine, and finish. Okay, now if you look on the left hand panel, you will see that day 1 project is there. You expand it, it will have source folder and JRE system library inside it. Okay, now JRE system library is nothing but Java which was installed on your machine, Java runtime environment. Alright, and this is the source folder. In this folder we will be keeping all the Java code. Whatever coding which we will be doing, we will be keeping out here. For example, in order to create a new Java file, you right click on the source folder and select new class. Okay, give your class a name. Suppose I give the class name as test or sample Java file. Alright, check this checkbox public static void main. I'll tell you what this is in some time. Alright, finish it off and you will get a code generated like this. Alright, I'll just increase my font size. Hold on. I'll increase the font size so that you are able to see it clearly. Right, I think it will be clear now. So this is the code which is automatically generated, right? The first line says that public class sample. Okay, what public is, basically public means that you can access this class from anywhere. In Java, everything is inside a class. There is a starting bracket and there is an ending bracket of the class. Whatever coding you will be doing inside this class, not outside the class. Okay, and important thing is the name of the class and name of the Java file should be same. Alright, you cannot have the name as different. Suppose I put a different name out here, in Eclipse, it will immediately give me an error like this. But this is the advantage of Eclipse. That is, it's a smart editor. It immediately gives you an error in case you have done something syntactically wrong. Okay, if you move your mouse over the error, you will get two options to fix this error. That is, rename this class to sample or rename sample.java file. Okay, so I'll simply select rename, type to sample, and it renames. So this is the advantage of Eclipse. Even if you make the smallest mistake, it will tell you. Suppose if I forget to give this bracket out here, I'll get an immediate error, and if you read the error, it is telling me insert the bracket to complete the class body. So you just need to move your mouse over the error, it will tell you the fix as well. Okay, inside the sample class we have the function public static void main. What public is, what static is, what void is, just accept these things as they are. As we proceed with the course, it will be very clear to you. Okay, and this is the main function basically. If you have studied the C language, then in C language also we have the main function. The control comes inside the main function if we run the program for the very first time. Okay, so if I have to type something in Java, the command is system.out.println. Okay, suppose if I write in this learning Selenium like this. Alright, system.out.println learning Selenium like this. If I am writing and if I am running this code, this will simply print in the output learning Selenium out here. At the bottom you have the console. Okay, so main function is the one in which the control comes in for the first time, and to type anything the command is system.out.println. The shortcut is, that is, you type syso and hit control plus spacebar. Alright, that is syso control spacebar. Okay, now if you look at your project out here, day 1. Alright, so right now what I am going to tell you is, I am going to tell you how to configure Selenium in your workspace, in your Eclipse. Okay, we will not start using it, we will never use it today, we will start using it probably by end of the day tomorrow, but I will today tell you how to configure it. To configure it, you need to understand the concept of API and jar files. Okay, before I tell you that, you need to understand the concept of class files. Now this is my Java file, that is sample.java. This is inside the project day 1. If I right click on this project, go to the properties, right, that is, again I repeat, right click on the project, go to the properties. You will have the location where this project is lying. Alright, we copy this location, go to this location, and there is a source, there are various folders and files over here. .project file. Okay, this signifies that this is an Eclipse project. Don't delete this file. If you delete this file, then this project will not open in Eclipse. Okay, this is your day 1 project. right? You open this, you'll have all these things. Dot class path, we'll talk about it later on. Okay, we'll not talk about it right now. Okay, just let it leave it like this. Source. This source folder is the one which was available in day one in Package Explorer as well. If you open this source folder, it will have sample.java inside it. Okay, and then there's a bin folder, right? In the bin folder we have sample.class file. So this is important. That is every Java file. Okay, every .java file, when you run the program, it is converted into a .class file. So this is my .java file. Alright, when you run the program, this .java file will be converted into a .class file. Alright, so out here we had in the source folder, we had sample.java. This sample.java got converted to sample.class. Now this class file is a binary file and it is platform independent. You deploy this file, this is the one which actually gets executed behind the scenes. You can deploy this file on Linux based operating system, on Unix based operating system, on any operating system, and this file will work. This will always work. That's why Java is a platform independent language, because the class file, it actually, you can execute it on any platform. You can make the class file on Windows and you can make it execute on Linux as well, on any operating system, on Mac OS or whatever you have. Okay, now when we practically work with Selenium, when we practically work with any project, okay, we end up making lot of Java files. Suppose my project is very big, alright, and I end up making around 1000 Java files in the project. Okay, out here we just made one Java file, that is sample.java. But practically when people work in industry, they end up making a lot of Java files. That is, suppose 1000 Java files have been made. Alright, so what happens is that it's like, suppose I need to release all the files in the market. Right, I want that people should come over to my website and they should be able to download all the class files corresponding to 1000 Java files. So if there were 1000 Java files, there would have been 1000 class files. Okay, so I want people to download all the class files in my project. Right, to do so, what we actually do is that we keep all the class files in a file known as a jar file. Okay, and if you look at your project over here in JRE system library, okay, these are the various jar files. Alright, these are the jar files which get installed or which get downloaded into your system when you install Selenium. If you expand these jar files, then each of these jar files has got lot of class files in them. So these are the jar files or the API of basic core Java which was installed on your system. Right? This is rt.jar or many jar files, and each of these jar files has got thousands of class files inside it. Alright, similarly, you download the jar files for Selenium from the internet. Okay, Selenium is not installed. Many people that tell me how to install Selenium or something, you never install Selenium, you configure Selenium. People have made the class files of Selenium or the jar files of Selenium and they have kept it on the net. You can simply download the jar files and include them in Eclipse. Alright, how do you do that? you simply have to go to the Selenium website, this page seleniumhq.org/download, and simply click on the download link out here for Java 2.23.1 version. Alright, when you download this, okay, when you download this version, this thing out here, that is, I'll show you. You will get a zip file. When you extract the zip file, you will get a folder like this, Selenium 2.23.1. Okay, if you open this folder, you will have these two jar files out here. Okay, two jar files will be present out here, and in the library many other jar files will be present. Okay, each of these jar files is having a lot of classes related to Selenium. Okay, and who made these jar files? People who made Selenium, they made these jar files, right? How do you include these jar files in Eclipse? That's very simple. You have to go to your project, right click on the project and go to the properties of the project. Okay, I'll again repeat, right click, go to the properties of the project, and you will see an option called Java build path out here. Third from the top, you will see an option Java build path. In build path, you will see various tabs over here. You have to go to the library tab, libraries. Alright, you will see that GRE system library or Java it's already there in your project out here. Now you need to add some external libraries which were not by default present in Eclipse. Okay, so you click on add external jars and you go to your C drive where you have downloaded your Selenium jar files. So these are WebDriver jar files, the latest version of Selenium, not the RC. RC is old. Okay, you include these two jar files, Selenium Java, okay, out here. Click on open. So these will be included in the project. And also, do not forget, okay, many times people forget this. Do not forget to include the jar files which are present in the libs directory. Okay, go to the libs directory and include all the jar files from libs as well. So you simply include it, and in your Eclipse you will see a referenced library section coming up. If you expand this, you will see that these are the reference libraries for Selenium, and each of these jars will have lot of classes present in them. Okay, each of these jars will have lot of classes present in them. These are the classes of Selenium, right? So I repeat the concept once more. Alright, although this is hardly anybody can ask you in the interview, but you know the basics are very important. Okay, every Java file is converted into a class file. Right, diagrammatically, just a minute, 1 minute. Suppose I have got two Java files. Okay, both of them will be converted into two files called .class files. So whatever Java code you make, when you run your program, all the Java code is converted into class files. These class files can be put together if there are not two or if there are 1000 Java files as well. Okay, all these can be put together in a single file known as a jar file. This is, you can say, this is just like a zip file, okay, which can be understood by Eclipse. And this jar file will represent your project. and whosoever made Selenium made number of jar files which you can download. For example, later on we'll see how to read Excel files with Java language, right? So for reading Excel files, there is another API called as the POI API. Okay, the POI API helps you to read Excel files very easily. So what we'll do is we'll go to the POI site and download the jar files, which will be having the code, pre-written code to read the Excel files in a very easy way, right? So all these things are known as APIs. Technically, all these things are known as APIs. When you download Selenium on your machine, when you install Java on your machine, what happens is the core Java API, it gets installed on your machine. This is the core Java API. It is nothing but set of class files again, or set of Java jar files again, right? When you download Selenium out here, you have the, technically all the things are known as APIs. Selenium API, Application Programming Interface. You must have heard this word. I don't know whether you have heard it or not on your machine. So this was the core Java API. Similarly, there is an API. API is nothing but a set of jar files called the POI API, which we will be studying later on, and this is used to read the Excel files with the help of Java language. So all these are extensions to the core Java. Core Java by default present in every machine wherever you have Java. Apart from that, you can include other APIs in Java as well. There are thousands of APIs to do thousands of things. For example, image processing API. There are APIs to build websites and all. So mainly in this course, we will be requiring these APIs, and maybe there is something known as logging API as well, log4j. Okay, we will also use that in the course, or there will be a JUnit or TestNg, whatever we will do that later on. Okay, but the concept of like configuring Selenium, this is how you configure Selenium. I will not use Selenium today because you know what, I don't want to use it before I start with the concepts of object-oriented programming. All right, so to start with that, I'll have to start with Java language. Okay. Now I'll just request everybody. That today I just don't want to start with basic stuff like loops and all. So I hope everybody in their programming experience, you must have done some coding at least. You must be knowing what if statement is, what a for loop is. Okay, so I would just request everybody to go through the module 2. The watch now button is enabled on the module 2. It's a free video. You can click on it, you start watching it. Just go through this today before coming over to the class for tomorrow, because I just don't want to waste time tomorrow in telling you what loops are and all, what these things are. Okay, although I'll tell you about arrays and all, that's important. Okay, basically I want to concentrate on object-oriented programming tomorrow, and I need to give you some examples on how the object-oriented programming is used in Selenium. So after this class, if you have little bit of time, that even 1 hour, then you can just go through this video. You will learn a lot of things. Okay, because tomorrow I'll do the object-oriented programming. I'll not start with for loops or if statements and all. Okay. Now, any questions from anybody? Anybody having any questions related to the course, related to